Okay, Jason's on Teams. We'll wait. Jason said he'll be here at 7:05, but he is on Teams listening through the modern technology on the way in. So we're 2 more minutes. Boy, things really came out with this warm weather. Man, this is a nice time of year. Oh, really?
This is what I get. Yep.
I was wondering, because I suddenly have like a headache all the time, and I'm like, is this allergies? Is that what this is?
Yeah, I'm gonna say. That's odd.
You can, I mean, I got mine, I never had anything until I was 28, and then I got tested, and I'm allergic to birch trees and mold and all sorts of shit. But basically this time of year in the fall, if I get in front of it a little bit and take my Allegra for a few days before it starts, I'm good. So you gotta figure out which one works. You got your Allegra, take them all. I've taken them all.
My father had hay fever, couldn't mow hay before the 4th of July. And he ate toast and honey every day religiously, local honey. And eventually he was pretty good.
Yeah, I've been taking it, and honey, it does help.
It does help. I'm just thankful I'm not allergic to poison ivy.
I said like,
You can touch.
You get poison ivy? Oh,
I get it terrible.
yeah, some people, you'll look at it and it's,
Yeah, my mom's like that, and I got it from her. The worst part about it now is they treat you automatically with prednisone. I hate taking that shit. It's steroids.
yeah, it's time. I will call the Southbury Board of Selectmen regular meeting to order May 2nd, 2024 at 7 p.m. If we could have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Joining us remotely, and then will be coming in, will be Jason Bucksbaum. He is listening in on his technology and should be here, he said, about 7:05. Greg will not be here tonight, and we look forward to seeing him at the next meeting. First up is public comments. We have nobody in the audience, so we can dispense with that. You have your announcements and correspondence in front of you. Next up is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Justin made the motion because your mic's not on. Holly has seconded it. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Jason? Thank you, Jason. Okay, minutes of April 18th, 2024 regular meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Tim O'Neill made the motion. Justin has seconded it. Any discussion on the minutes?
I'm just gonna abstain because I was not in attendance for that.
And you haven't read them, or you didn't watch the meeting?
I did not watch them.
Okay, because you can watch the meeting and vote on the approval, just for clarification. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
And it's unanimous. We have no unfinished business tonight. We have no new business. I was away this last number of days and just got back last night, so the first selectmen's report is a little short. We met today on the pool. Justin, you were there, and we will probably within the next week or two have information next day or two out to the Board of Selectmen, but then I'll probably be calling a special meeting in the next week or two for two items, one of which will be the pool for bid approval, explanation and to the board so they can see it. The second thing I hope to bring forward, we're pretty close, is a possible solution to, and cost to opening up River Road one-way. But I will wait till that comes in, and we will hopefully have something we can do with the River Road to get it open to some degree. We'll wait for that information.
Jeff, did Cardinal come back at all with when they plan on having those core samples done?
The core samples were done.
So for this River Road opening, what are we waiting on other than that?
We're coming up with a design that's not part of the total engineer, what the whole road would be, just enough to stabilize the one lane with the engineers. The cores down through showed, if you want those results, I can get you, but they're basically saying the whole thing has never been compacted and there's no basis for the soil. So we're gonna come up with a plan. I've not seen it yet, and the engineering plan from Cardinal to take that material out. It's gotta come out because there's no stability. What needs to be done there, and we're waiting for approval. The Army Corps of Engineers, we're looking for them to give approval for the First Light to approve us on an ongoing basis without having to keep going to Army Corps, which could take years. So we're working with them to get this all lined up and then possibly get this done soon. We'll have that. The
So
core
for-
report
So for the
showed,
one-way, you're thinking within the next month or two?
I'm hoping within a couple months. Yeah, that's a goal. So I haven't seen the reports yet, but we'll have that before the board. But again, part of the problem is we need stable ground underneath, and none of that is stable. It was never compacted correctly. There's no structural integrity to any of there's no rocks, there's nothing. It's just loose fill.
Okay.
That was the core samples that we got on that. So this is just gonna be a temporary thing. This is just to get access, get it to stabilize enough so that we can use it. It may not even be pavement on it, because it may have to be continually maintained to keep it till the finals, whatever solution we come up with. But we'll have that probably I'm hoping within the next 2 weeks, because I don't want to wait till the next meeting, which is in June. But as I said, we'd have a special meeting. We may do it remotely, so if people are tied up, they can't come in, we'll make sure we have electronic and we can do that. Reports from liaisons. Justin?
Economic Development, IPOC, and Strategic Plan have not met since our last meeting. They will meet prior to our next meeting. You mentioned pool oversight. Actually, Dan did email the rest of us this afternoon, the bids.
Oh, you did, okay.
So, yeah, later this afternoon. So we all have them, and, as you know, Jeff, 4 of the 5 came in underneath the 3.2, so it looks pretty good.
And the bids did include
The heater.
the heater, which I'm glad it did. Again, that was,
Yep.
it does include the heater and the infrastructure for the heater. That was nice to hear today. It was good news.
Very.
Jason, welcome.
Just in time. Couple of things. EMS committee did meet since our last meeting. They primarily had what they're doing now is every other month they're having a regular meeting, and every other month they're having like a breakout committee meetings, like work group meeting, and they use this meeting to start creating their committees to do various things required by the EMS plan. And they'll be coming back to us with some suggestions. They're looking at the ordinance, the resolution creating them as well, and some of the things they're required to do, and there'll be more that'll come from them. An email went out this week to the town about needing members for that committee. They currently have 3 vacancies. So if anyone knows anyone or anyone's listening, if you're interested in joining up, it's a good group, and they could use some new members. The other groups did not meet, but I will mention for library, the Friends of the Library is having their sale this weekend. The book sale starts Thursday through the weekend. And Jeff mentioned he was away last week, so I just mentioned I had the privilege in his place to swear in our newest police officer last Wednesday, which is a great event organized by Sergeant Grillo over at the police department. And the town also had its annual Arbor Day celebration on Friday, and I'd like to thank the Historic Tree Restoration Committee for all the work they do in maintaining our Tree City USA status year after year for the 26th consecutive year. And to our public works crews for all the work they do in maintaining everything, and they planted new trees over at Lakeside Park, which should be nice and provide a lot of shade there. So that's all I have.
Thank you. That was down in Lakeside.
Yeah.
It was pretty nice to, we have to remember the other parks and areas that we service, and that's a nice little park down there for that. Greg is not here tonight. Tim?
None of my committees have met, so I have nothing to report.
Okay. Holly? I see front page, the new pool for the Region 15.
Right, lots of pools coming in around Southbury. There's also lots of other things happening over at the high school that folks may have noticed, that the tennis courts are being poured or have been poured. There's so for any of the folks who were following along the way last year with some of the capital projects, it's really nice to see these things coming to fruition now. So lots of activity, particularly at the high school. The Board of Ed did meet on April 22nd, and there's other projects to be discussed. Particularly, there's going to be 2 focus groups focused on Gainfield and PES. So that's kicking off, and that's part of the conversation that they had on the 22nd. Aside from that, a lot of other discussion, particularly around like air quality and security and the building updates. And just, some other just housekeeping items as far as moving some funds and things along those lines. But I always encourage folks, if you're interested or if there's something that you want to find out, to tune into their streaming meetings as well. So.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Justin seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And we're adjourned. Thank you.